Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Leah Toshie. Welcome. And I brought Tori back for you guys because y'all loved her in the last 2 Cents episode. So I begged her to come back. I didn't have to beg that hard though. She was like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, maybe moving forward, you have to be in every episode.
Every time I'm nervous though. That's
I know, me
the
too.
problem.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. But if you're new to the 2 Cents series, in this series, we give, well, me and a guest give you guys our advice when it comes to different situations that you write in about. I created an email address specifically for this series. All you have to do is submit your scenario or situation or whatever you're dealing with into the email address and we will read it verbatim here on the episode. It is anonymous, so please remember to use fake names. If you forget, just let me know so that I can make up the names for you. But you know, we don't want to out anybody out here, okay?
I hope that people like email back in their updates.
Oh yeah.
Because like I've still been thinking about like the questions from last week and I'm kind of like, I wonder what happened to them. Like what do they decide to do?
Yes. So if you're somebody who we already addressed your situation in a video and you have an update for us, just reply to the email that you originally sent in so I can see that it's a reply and then we will, you know, update the viewers on the situation. But I think that's all of the information. If you have any questions, just comment them down below. All the information of what to do is in the description box. I think that's it, other than follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and Tori on Instagram and TikTok as well. And without further ado, let's give them our 2 cents.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
I'm still nervous. I don't know why this makes me nervous. Like
me too.
I think the first one makes me nervous. After that, I'm like in the groove.
After that, you're good. Ooh, okay. First one sounds juicy already, just by the title.
Oh, God.
The title is Sibling versus the BFF. Okay. Hi Leah, just wanted your 2 cents on this situation. In January, it'll have been a year that this happened, but the vibe is very much still ongoing. My older sister, we will call her Susan. Me and her best friend, we will call her V, which was my best friend that I met through her, planned to go on a cruise for my birthday. So her older sister's best friend, which was her friend. I'm confused.
Oh, I've kind of had a situation like this. So one of my sorority sisters, like she was my friend first, but then I met her little sister and like we became good friends too.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm friends with both of them.
Got it. So they plan to go on a cruise for her birthday. Does she not hear us talking? Okay, so at the end of December, she got COVID and could no longer go, but was determined to still go, mainly because me and V were still gonna go since the trip was paid for. A few days went by, Susan got better by doing some transfusions to be able to test negative for COVID. Didn't know that was a thing. Okay. About a week and a half goes by and now V gets COVID and is unable to go on the trip. All of a sudden, y'all, I can't fucking read. All of a sudden, the same determination to go on this trip when V was going was not there. Oh, I see. She wasn't motivated to go even though I was still going. Susan and her husband both said they didn't think the trip would be as fun because of the COVID guidelines and said if we still wanted to go, we can, as if I need their permission. But we would have to pay full price for the hotel that we were all going to stay in since it was just for one night. We all ended up canceling and not going on the trip because we weren't prepared to pay full price for anything. I see. So basically when one person was sick, the vibe was like, let's go. Mm-hmm. And then when the other person was sick, it was like,
it's not gonna be as fun.
Yes. Okay. So after we canceled the trip, I asked Susan if V was still going. Okay. After we canceled the trip, I asked Susan if V was still, Okay. After we canceled the trip, I asked Susan if V was still going, would you still want to go on the trip? And she told me yes. And that really hurt my feelings because you're not going on a trip for her, you're going to celebrate my birthday. So why should it matter if she's there or not? So she's made it clear that she doesn't want to go on a trip with me if V wasn't going. So that started the tension because you put your best friend before your sister. Fast forward 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks, V is feeling better and asked if we all wanted to rebook and go on a cruise in mid-January. My sister's husband responded almost immediately and said we're down. This rubbed my husband and I the wrong way because 2 weeks ago they told us it wouldn't be fun because of the COVID guidelines and they didn't want to go anymore. Those guidelines were very much still in place, so nothing has changed. So we responded to the group chat and said we shouldn't go because of the COVID guidelines, and we only said that because that is the response Susan and her husband gave me when we still wanted to go. Petty. Okay. They ended up going on the trip and didn't even tell me that they were leaving. I explained to my other siblings what was going on, and she told Susan how messed up that was and that she owed me an apology. And the other sister can hear Susan's husband in the background saying, "You have nothing to apologize for. You didn't do anything wrong." Sometimes the spouses just need to stay out of it.
It's a lot of play here. It's a lot of play here.
And that right there put a bad taste in my mouth about her husband, because you're inserting yourself in sibling drama, number one. And two, how fucking rude of you to say. My feelings are valid, and him invalidating them and acting like I have nothing to be upset about is disgusting. He has a heavy influence on Susan, and she can't think for herself, so whatever her husband tells her to do, she goes along with it. I can't stand people like that. He told her that she doesn't have a reason to apologize, so she's not going to apologize, even though she hurt my feelings deeply. This whole situation just really made me feel like I need to put up boundaries, because Susan clearly values her friendship with V over her sisterhood with her own sister. It's been almost a year now, and I'm over the situation, but I can't lie and say that my feelings aren't still hurt. When someone I love hurts me or hurts my feelings, the only thing I can say is, I can't believe you would do this to me. I would never do that to you. But right now, when people show you their true colors, I really need to start believing it, because I wouldn't be as disappointed as I am right now. True. My sister is my best friend, but I wasn't hers. Her friends haven't reached out to me since this all happened, which also proved I was your friend, but you weren't mine. Fast forward 5 months. I love this. I feel bad for your situation, but like, I love how much detail you're giving us here.
For sure.
And like painting the whole picture. Fast forward 5 months, I threw a birthday party for my son, and I didn't invite V because I haven't spoken to her in 5 months. So why would I invite somebody that I don't talk to anymore? Makes sense to me. She found out about the party because Susan told her and got upset that I didn't invite her and her family. She unfriended me on Facebook. Petty. She put petty. And blocked my number that same day. I wasn't worried about her, so I didn't find out until 3 months later that they unfriended me. LOL. Even after V did that, Susan still thinks I'm the one that has a problem with V. I truly don't have a problem with V. Susan just made me uncomfortable being around them because she values her over her sibling. Anyways, I haven't talked to Susan about it since August, and I told her I didn't want to talk to her about it because there wasn't going to be any resolution. All she wanted to do is defend herself instead of understanding and admitting where she was wrong. The reason I know for a fact that she was jealous that I was going on a vacation with her best friend is because for months, she was upset that her best friend was talking to one of our childhood friends and hanging out with her. Like, she gets jealous if anybody talks to her best friend, so I know now that this is how she felt about me. I'm not trying to take her best friend. I love that she has a genuine friend. We are grown women, out of high school with kids. This is so petty of her to be jealous that somebody is talking to her best friend. So now anything that she does, she always makes it a point to say, just a heads up, V will be there, and if you're uncomfortable with them being there, would you... No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Sweet girl.
Come here. Okay, lay down. You're interrupting the stories and we don't appreciate it. So now anything that she does, she always makes it a point to say, just a heads up, V will be there, and if you're uncomfortable with them being there, would you rather not me invite you? Like, what the fuck? Shouldn't that be the other way around? I don't care if your friends are there because they're your friends, but now she has made me uncomfortable to be in the same space as V. I just told her I wanted to keep sister separate from her friend because she doesn't know how to prioritize one above the other. I don't care how good of a friend, Jesus. Like my mouth and my brain, they're different things. Okay?
It's all good.
I don't care how good of friends you are with somebody. If I'm on good terms with my family and siblings, they will always come first before my friend, because regardless if you're my best friend or not, my sister was here before you and my sister will be here after you. That's just the way I think when it comes to my siblings who are my best friends. With everything my sister has said and done, I just want to know how you would feel being me in this situation and how you would resolve the issue. I told her, let's agree to disagree and don't talk to me about it anymore, but not sure if that was the right thing for me to do, as there is still some lingering feelings. We are on better terms now, but I don't fuck with her the same way I did before. She's just my sister. She's not really a friend to me anymore. That makes me sad.
That does make me sad.
We both don't have a sister.
We both don't have sisters, and I've always wanted a sister.
Me too. And so like that makes me sad. I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Oh gosh. Okay, so first off, I had a lot of thoughts when you were reading it. First things first, I think that we have a few things at play here. We have the sister thing going on. We have the best friend thing. We have the travel thing, which is a whole nother animal. And we have the husband thing, okay?
Yes. Okay.
So you have to realize, I've been in couple friendship groups before, and not everyone is going to get along, especially when traveling. That is the one thing that, like, travel plans have ruined friendships.
Yes.
And there are some people that you just decide you don't want to travel with, and they can be your best friend, and you just don't want to travel with them, okay? So I think like them feeling like they want to travel with V, the, I guess, older sister, we'll just say she's the older sister, Susan, and her husband wanting to travel with V, and I'm guessing her husband, it's probably more that the husbands are getting along, right? And the dynamic, obviously, with the sister, the younger sister who wrote into this, and her older sister's husband are not good. So if he's in her sister's ear about who he wants to travel with, he's maybe making a little bit more of those decisions and influences.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I think we gotta tackle in this one. As far as friendships are concerned, I just feel like maybe in this situation, V just can't be both of your friends. It's obvious that she's more of a friend with Susan than the girl who wrote in. So it's like, that's okay. Just get other friends. Like this, your sister's always going to be your sister, but that doesn't mean that you have to entrench all of your friendships together. Right? They don't have to be this big happy group. So I would just say, don't not talk to your sister. I always think not saying anything and just being like, I'm not communicating with someone that you love and that's going to be in your life is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
You got to communicate, especially if they're in your life. Now, if they're an estranged friend or somebody who is just giving you like negative feelings and they're not making you feel good about yourself, X them out of your life. If it's toxic, exit. But it's obvious that you love your sister and you don't, she's not toxic and you don't want her out of your life. You guys are big parts of your life. So you got to talk about it and maybe just separate and say, hey, everything that happened on that trip really hurt me. And I think that V's the culprit of a lot of this. And I don't really understand why, you know, you would rather travel with her rather than me, and just get her to explain. And based on what she says, just maybe don't travel with them anymore.
Yes to all of that. I think a few things stuck out for me here. So first things first, it's hard to put myself in your shoes because again, I don't have a sister, and a sister relationship is different from a brother-sister relationship.
True, for sure.
Because I heard this thing recently that was like, think about your sibling, and if that person wasn't your sibling, would you still be friends with them? And I don't know, like me and my brother are close, but we don't talk about a lot. Yeah, me and Corey are close, but we don't talk like every single day or anything. We just like joke and stuff like that. So it's like, I love having him as my brother. If we weren't siblings, would we be besties? I don't know. Maybe we would just be like normal level friends.
That's like hard to say with like brothers, I think.
But you and your brother are like super duper close. Like y'all have never beat the shit out of each other and stuff.
No.
But the dynamics with us and our siblings and you with yours is different because when you have a brother and they have friends, them having guy best friends is never gonna like get in the way of you having a sister relationship because you're not the same gender. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a bromance versus a sibling. Versus with you, it's like your friends are other girls and you two are also girls. So it's like a bunch of girls, and it's like you kind of tend to mesh the things together, the friendship and the sibling thing together with the friends because you're all girls. You know what I'm trying to say?
Totally. Well, answer this. If you had a friend that didn't like your brother and said like, I don't like him, like if he comes, I'm not going, would you say, and it's like a party, right? You're throwing a party and it's either inviting your friend or inviting your brother, who would you invite?
See, that's the thing. I would invite my friend just because.
You want your friend?
Well, because my brother, like my situation's different. Like my brother doesn't even live here. We don't go to the same shit anyway.
Aside from all of that, just say brother or friend. Brother or friend. They're both here. They're at the door. Only one can come in.
See, what I do though, listen. What I tend to do though is I always think about the other person before myself. When I'm thinking about my best friend who's a girl and my brother coming to a party.
Best friend boy. Just even the playing field.
Okay, best friend boy.
Best friend or your brother.
Again, hear my thoughts though. You are hearing my thoughts. Okay, listen. But you would clearly pick Victor.
I'm brother 1,000%.
I know, but
best friend. Bye.
That's because you guys are like literally best friends. Exactly. Me and my brother are cool, but we're not best friends. And when I think about, okay, let me invite these people. Who's gonna care? My brother would give negative 10 fucks.
Exactly. And I get that though.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you know, the whole like blood thicker than water.
Yes.
Like your brother's always going to be your brother and he's never going to
he doesn't give a fuck if I don't invite him to something.
Okay,
he's going to be like, oh yeah, she invited her friend. Makes sense.
Okay.
Like,
that's
right.
cool.
But that's why it's different from the sister thing.
It's different.
So it's hard to give advice on this one. This one's fucking hard. Because I understand your point of view of why you're upset and like how they didn't want to travel with you. Yeah. I
think it's a travel thing, and again, I think it's the husband thing that's coming into play, honestly. I really think that's more, because even when they were mentioned, I was like, that's more so what's happening, because she said explicitly that her sister's husband controls her, like controls the situation. So I think that's
first of all, I totally feel you on that, because I fucking hate, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in life, is when a person, and it doesn't even have to be like a girlfriend with a husband. It could be one of my guy friends and they have a wife. I take that back. It's more so when it's a girl and her husband. Because I can't stand when a bitch is married or in a relationship. Like, I understand you put that person first to a certain extent and you might ask their opinion on things. But like, I hate when a girl is a weak ass bitch in her relationship where she's like, well, he said... Like, oh, let me ask him if I can do this. Like, fucking no. You have your own brain. Make your own decision. Like, yes, you can ask for their input or like what they think, but you don't have to agree with it. No. And you don't have to do what they say. They're not your fucking master. The fuck? I hate that. So I totally understand how you're just like, when your sister, her dynamic with her husband is very like, oh, what he says, bleh, that's disgusting. I hate that so much. Honestly, and I feel you because she's your sister, so like she's in your life. But when I have friends like that to where they're like that, I can't even like really be close friends with them anymore. I pretty much chop them because I can't deal with you always being like, oh, I don't know if I can go because my husband's like, I hate that. But I'm trying to think in this situation if we used each other. So like, we don't have sisters, but like, we're sisters. If one of my friends don't like you. Yes. Okay, this applies better in my head for me because it's a sister dynamic versus a brother. Okay, let's use Cindy because we're equally, I feel like, cool with Cindy. Yes. Okay, so our friend Cindy, who was my friend. That makes sense because Cindy's like more like your best friend. Yes. Like, you know her. So she's more my best friend, but then I introduced them and they like hit it off. So we're all cool. If we were all going on a cruise. It would be if I got COVID. Like, you're the friend in the middle. So if I got COVID and then y'all were still like, oh, I'm gonna go. And then once she gets COVID, you're like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna go. It's because it's what it's basically saying, which is what... That's funny. What it's basically saying is that like, you don't think the other person's fun, exactly. It's which like you don't think you're gonna. And I will have to say, we have to acknowledge that dynamics on trips are different based on who's there, and it's sometimes about comfortability and sometimes about like how fun they are. Yeah, and the way my head works with this too is that I'm not saying you're sensitive, but I'm not sensitive to the fact that I'm not the fun friend or whatever. So if you decided, oh, I want to go on a trip with Cindy because like she's so fun, like you, I would be like, okay, because I'm not fun. Like I'm not the life of the party. So I get when other people want to either go to a brunch or a dinner or a trip, and the idea is to have the best time and like turn up. I'm not the friend, so like I'm not offended if someone says to me, whether sister or friend, is like, girl, you're not the fun one. I'd be like, I know. But it seems like she's hurt. By that. Because it's the secretiveness of it. It's like, oh, I find out that you guys are there on Facebook or Instagram. That's shady too. It's like, whoa, I didn't even know y'all were going. Yes. So that's a little shady when you're purposely excluding people that you know. Like, if you have to keep it a secret, you know it's wrong. Yes. Right? Good point. Also, I think though, the whole issue in every single little part of this, from the friendship and sister dynamic and the trip and going without telling and you feeling how you feel or whatever, all of it is communication. Totally. Like, I feel like if the three of you, or even if you're like, if you're already past with V and you're like, fuck V, I'm done with that. Even just you and your sister, if you had a sit down, heart to heart, heartfelt conversation where like you're having a serious conversation and getting into the nitty gritty, I think you guys would be fine. And she would be able to see your point better if you expressed it in like a heartfelt way. I think when it gets twisted is when like both people are either stubborn and or like angry about the situation. It comes out aggressive and angry, or it like comes out and you guys end up fighting versus having a conversation. I think if you allow your sister to not hear your words but hear like your heart, she will be able to understand and have empathy and then treat you accordingly, and you guys can have a conversation. I still can't truly from my core speak to the like friend and sister situation and who would pick who first, because it's different for everybody. Clearly you would pick your brother and I'd be like, I'd probably pick my friend.
This happens in friend groups too though. Sometimes two people have been friends first, they bring someone else into the group. And then it's like a tug of war, basically. Pretty much your older sister's in a tug of war between her best friend and her sister. And
and I know you recognize that because you said you've mentioned it in the entry that like she's in the middle. You said it without really saying it, but she's in the middle, except you think with her in the middle she needs to choose you because you're the sister. So you kind of maybe have to understand where she's coming from, being stuck in the middle of her bestie and her sister. Ugh,
and
that's
she may not want to choose. Like, I don't know. I feel like I always go back to like choose people who choose you, right? So obviously V has not chosen the person who sent the entry in, so it's like she's gone. But I feel like your sister is not choosing you. She's just really caught in the middle between probably not trying to hurt your feelings and also not trying to hurt her friend's feelings. And sorry to say it, but if you're her sister, she knows that deep down inside, you're probably not going to excommunicate her all the way.
Yeah, so when it comes to hurting someone's feelings, as shitty as it is, like you're kind of like, well, my sister will get over it. She's my sister.
She's my sister.
So like I will just put the other girl first because it's different. Like she could exit my life forever versus my sister. Like she'll be fine. She's my sister. Yeah, I really just think communication. You have to communicate with each other because you're both hurt. It seems like you're definitely hurt by the situation, and the only way to fix the dynamic that you and your sister have now after all of this has happened is to have a conversation.
Yes.
And that's all you can do. If the conversation doesn't go well, it doesn't go well, and you can decide what to do from there, but at least you owe it to each other to at least hear each other's sides and like talk about your feelings and potentially resolve it. That was a lot. That was another 10 cents.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, I loved it. I loved it because she gave us a lot of information. Yeah.
10 cents.
10 cents. We give you $5. Let's see. Let me put this down. It keeps spilling. Okay, this one says, first of all, you're a queen. Thank you so much. I love all of your content and you're such a gem in real life. Thank you. I know who this is, so. But I don't know.
Names will be changed.
Yes, but I don't know the situation. She changed the names for me. Okay. Before I start, I just want to tell you that I'm already on my healing journey, but I'll give you the full scoop before I get to what I need your advice on. My ex-boyfriend, we'll call him Justin, and I met in 2018. Things were amazing. He was the man I envisioned spending the rest of my life with. I already had 2 children from a previous relationship, and he fully committed and stepped up as a father figure in their life almost immediately. A knight in shining armor, if you will. We started discussing marriage amongst other things and ended up getting pregnant with one of our own, and things started to slowly piece together. He moved from out of town and we moved in together. A happy little family, right? Wrong. I quickly learned that he had already cheated on me. Not once, but twice. Let's just say we went through many ups and downs where it was 70-30 most of the time, me being the one holding shit down. Things got even worse once our daughter came and I felt super alone, depressed, and began to have a lot of anxiety from working and trying to hold down a household, etc. After our daughter came, he stepped out on our relationship again with someone from a job internship he was doing, and I was done. But then I got pregnant again. Girl, use fertile. Okay, we had our son, and I just kept on tolerating his repetitive narcissistic cycles until December of 2021. He was stepping out again, and I was checked out, but our lease wasn't up until April. We coexisted, co-parented, whatever the fuck, while he was continuing to do whatever, while I maintained the house, job, etc. We separated physically in March. He was/is living a great bachelor life. He is a great parent, but it's never 50-50 for sure. My only request was that he kept his dating life and our children separate. I agreed to do the same, even though my goal was to build myself back up and not date for a while, which I did. Love that for you. I'm so glad you took the time to build yourself back up. That's so important. Fast forward to Thanksgiving this year, I started dating someone new who is a friend of our family. I love that for you. Okay. He's my sister's late husband's best friend. So he's been around all of my kids, my whole family, etc. Well, Justin is not having it and has been giving me hell since Thanksgiving. Talking shit to social media, threatening to fight this man. He's hurt. Not because he wants me, but because he doesn't want anyone else to have me. I have so many things to say. Anyway, he requests that I do not have the kids around him, even at family events, birthday parties, etc. He, the new guy, is my niece and nephew's godfather, so he's around frequently, but we keep what we have personally going on separate / away from the kids. My first question is, do you think that I'm in the wrong for having the kids around him in a platonic atmosphere? And second, he is living with the woman who essentially home wrecked our relationship. It was done way before that when I look back. Is it wrong for me to say I don't want them around her until they decide they're going to have something serious? He's been telling me for months she's nothing. It's semi-hypocritical. Thoughts?
You take this one first.
First things first. Good for you for moving on, because getting over a relationship that was so perfect in the beginning and then turns out the person was a piece of shit is so fucking hard. You keep trying to find that person again in that person as they are now.
Right?
Yeah, and so that's really hard. So I applaud you on putting yourself first and putting yourself first for yourself and your kids to be healed and all of that. Girl, you're a strong ass bitch, because it couldn't be me. I'm petty and crazy. Okay, but let's answer your first question. Do I think you're in the wrong for having kids around him, your new guy, in a platonic atmosphere? No. I don't. In this situation, this new man that you're dating has already been around the kids.
Right.
So it's not like you're bringing a stranger in that might not be around long, you know? Right. In that case, if it was a stranger, I would say like hold off on introducing him to your kids as long as possible until you're like for sure. So that obviously like the kids don't get attached or you confuse them or whatever. In this case, especially like you're saying in a platonic way, why can't he be around the family if he was already around the family? So I think your ex is being petty in that sense and just wants to be able to say, I think it's one of those things where like when they do wrong, they make it their life mission to not feel like they did all the wrong and that you're doing something wrong too. Like it's not just me, it's also you. Like cause they know that they're wrong and what they did was wrong. And they're the ones that caused the situation that you're now in. So then but they can't handle being like the one that fucked everything up. So they're like, what can I do to make it seem like she's also the bad guy? It's not just me.
Gaslighting.
Fucking gaslighting at its finest. He's just trying to be like, you know, those are my kids too. Like they shouldn't be around this man. But like he has no leg to stand on in that situation. Because like you said, he was already part of the family before. Now he's just mad that you have somebody.
Exactly.
And the second part about you asking him to not have her around, I think that's fair. And this isn't just like I'm on the girl side because she's a girl and I'm against the guy because whatever. It just makes sense. Your guy can be around the kids platonically because he was already around the kids. This girl he's with that he has said himself, oh, she's nothing, shouldn't be around the kids until she's something, you know?
But she's obviously something. They live together.
Yeah, but why is he saying she's nothing then? Like, figure your shit out. Sorry. If they live together and he's over here telling you on the low, like, she's nothing serious, we're nothing, then that means right there, it's not secure enough for her to be around the kids. But also, if she does live with him, you can't keep her from the kids. Yeah. That's so hard. You can't necessarily tell him you're not allowed to move this person in or whatever, because that's crossing a line. That's his life. But when it comes to the kids, it is, you get a say too, but in that situation, how is he supposed to keep them away from this girl if she lives there? I mean, it could be like, I think you said it's 50-50, but not like you handle most of it. So if it sounds like, I'm assuming now, but if he doesn't have the kids all the time, you might be able to say like, hey, I don't think she should be around the kids. So when you have them, she needs to be fucking at her girlfriend's house somewhere else, because maybe it's like twice a week, like it's not even that much. It's more like a visitation situation. It's more like a visitation situation. And then, you know, obviously live your own life. When I have the kids, do whatever you want to fucking do. Right. What's your tea?
So I had to take a second because I had to wrap my brain around this.
Yeah.
So first of all, I have two things about this that has to be said. We have to give ourselves a little bit of grace and not try to make these perfect situations for your kids, because they're never going to be perfect, right? There may be a person that you date that you think is going to be your husband, and that person may not become your husband, and you can't be scared that that's going to scar your kids, right?
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be able to experience life if you're doing that. So with that being said, I think you should allow yourself to date him, because you have to know if this person's going to be a stepdad to your kids. And I think you should wait until you're really comfortable. I did hear something. I'm the devil in the details type of person. So I did hear that you said y'all just started dating in November of 2022, like I think Thanksgiving or something. So I think that's very soon. We're just in January. So give yourself a little bit of time, get to know him as a person without introducing him to your kids. And when you're truly ready and you know his intention for you, you can make sure that, you know, that's the right person, and then you introduce them to your children. On the other hand, you cannot affect or decide what your co-parent does with your kids as far as who they introduce your kids to. All you can do is make sure that person keeps your kids safe from any sort of abuse, physical, mental, and emotional, and verbal. And if any of that stuff happens, then like dead it with whoever they have around. But it becomes like this secretive situation. So I think the main thing just needs to be your kids' safety. And if you trust this person, and if he trusts the person that he's living with, y'all can't keep your kids away from these people. That's just one of the casualties of co-parenting and not being together. Now, with that being said, that's an argument that like, it's almost like an argument that doesn't need to be had, because you're putting your energy in something that you're going to be lying about anyway. You've already said that your co-parent is a cheater, a 4-time cheater. Do you think that he's going to tell the truth about who your kids are going to be around if he's living with the woman? Absolutely not. So, and then at the same token, you're thinking about having your new guy at a party. So are you being honest with him about not having the guy around the kids? Absolutely not. Right. So it's like, don't even like put energy there. Just put more energy into yourself, your relationship, the protection of your kids, and it just needs to be a lot of communication. So take that energy away from trying to control who's around your kids when they're at another person's home, and make that more about like co-parenting properly. And honestly, I would more so say, you know, we need to get to a point where you guys can meet and be in the same room together and have a conversation. And I need to be in that room with that girl. And have a conversation.
That's so true.
You got to get to that
But
place.
then it doesn't sound like all 4 of them, the 2 couples, can even be in the same place, because, you know, baby dad is talking about fighting this other man.
That has to be the focus.
That has to be the focus. Ugh, I feel bad that you're in a situation where you have to deal with such childish behavior from, you know, y'all are all grown, and you're having to deal with like, you know, meet me outside type shit. It's like, come on. At some point you have to grow up, and like, and you have kids, like grow up. But until then, you kind of just have to focus on you, keep your good energy going, this healed version of you, and your kids will feed off of that, and that'll be great. If your kids see their dad or their ex-stepdad like having these bad patterns and behaviors, they're gonna see that. But what they can do is learn from you, the good parts, you know. So you can't shield them from everything, unfortunately.
And it seems like you desire a stable household, and to have a husband, and to have that stability for your kids. So don't miss out on that because
you're worried about him. If you can get through what you've already been through, this will be a piece of cake. You can get through this, and y'all can figure out a good dynamic for the kids. Are you ready for the next one? I think we can do like maybe 2 more. 2 more? Okay. Ooh, maybe. This might be the last one. They're long.
I know they're really long ones.
Okay. Hey girl, I love you and your videos, and I love this series. I will be sure to use fake names. Love that. Okay, backstory. I, Veronica, met my fiance Matt on Bumble back in the end of March 2020, in the height of the pandemic.
Okay. Ooh.
Out of all the guys I was talking to, my fiance was the most consistent. Since we weren't able, they're fiancés now.
We love a online
dating app too,
right? Online dating. It gives me hope.
Since we weren't able to meet right away, we FaceTimed, and of course, asking for social media handles. I added him on IG and saw that he had pictures with a girl on his entire IG feed, with the most recent being posted in January of 2020. I called him out on it because I am not a side chick, and I had told him if he had a girlfriend, out of respect to her and for myself, do not pursue me.
Okay, fair.
Respect that. He explained to me that he had broken up with her 2 weeks prior to us matching on Bumble, and that he was emotionally detached for a long time. Okay. He didn't know how to break up with her, but eventually was able to break up with her because she had cheated on him. It didn't sit right with me because it sounded like the same story every guy would tell me, but my friends insisted I keep talking to him, so I did. He finally deleted all the photos, and when we started to date, he had posted me on IG. His ex was still following him. Jessica, his ex, and all her friends started to stalk me on social media. Oh, and also question Matt that I was only a rebound and that once he realizes how much I suck, he'll go back to Jessica. I'm too crazy for this shit. Fast forward to now. He's still with me and proposed to me, and I do not doubt his love, and he is the best man who I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with. The problem is some of Matt's friends still hang out with Jessica. See, this is where we're gonna have to tussle. I'm getting too attached.
You're getting invested.
Yes. The problem is some of Matt's friends still hang out with Jessica, and I'm not saying they should choose sides, and Matt wouldn't make his friends choose sides. But when we got engaged, some of those friends were shocked. Not a good shocked, but a why her shocked. So I always feel uncomfortable around them or not good enough and constantly compare myself to Matt's ex, Jessica. With that being said, I do not want to invite these friends to my wedding. I do not believe I should pay for people who do not completely roll with me, as I am the person who Matt is going to spend the rest of his life with. Everyone I would like to invite to my wedding has to be a vibe, and they are not it. But Matt feels like I'm not being reasonable, saying how does he know my friends even like him, and that it's not fair that I can't invite his friends and I can invite mine. Like he can't invite his friends, she can invite hers. We get into these constant fights when making the guest list, and sometimes I feel like I'm not being fair. What do you think I should do? Should I invite Matt's friends to our wedding? Thanks so much. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
I feel directly like attached to this one. Some of y'all might know, but some of y'all might not know. I'm a bridal makeup artist. So yeah. I see so many weddings and so many brides and how they feel on the day of their wedding. Mm-hmm. And if I can tell you anything, make that day perfect for you. It is so stressful. It is so much going on. And the one thing that you can control, you cannot control the food sometimes. Sometimes it's nasty. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control like things that happen that day. But you can control who you choose to share that day with you. Yep. That is the one thing that you can control, mm-hmm. right? And I would say wholeheartedly, it should be people there that support you as a couple, that support your journey as a couple, and support you two as people. And if any of those people don't support you as a couple, they should not be there. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's friends or if it's family, because they're not going to be there to celebrate you and be happy for you. They're going to be there on their social media taking sneak photos of you, sending it to his ex.
Yes, and talking shit in the corner.
Don't do it. I do not suggest it. And even if you guys have to, now to your question, if y'all have to come together and literally write down every name on the list, and you have to give your reasons why this person should not be invited, and maybe everyone is not at the same level of egregious behavior, and some people may pass the test, and that has to be some compromise there, I'm sure, because I'm sure not every one of his guy friends is bad, you know. Some may be sort of neutral, and maybe they can come, but the ones that have done something specifically should be X-nayed off the list. That's not how you want to start your life together. Period. And you can talk to this because you had a wedding that was very specific.
Yes. Okay, my take on this is same to what you said, but at the same time, my take is this. I'm not saying he's not a great guy. You're gonna marry this man. Clearly you love him and he seems like a great guy. But like, if I were to tell Vic I didn't like one of his friends, but I had good reason, and like I expressed how it made me feel and what they did or said to make me feel that way, like he would back off that friend. When you're with somebody, they become your number one priority.
Exactly. They're above friends. They're honestly above family.
Yeah.
If that's going to be your wife or your husband, they're above everyone.
Yeah.
It's like God, your spouse, your kids, everybody else.
Honestly, your man's should be defending you to his friends and should put up a boundary that says, y'all are my friends, but you don't need to be talking about Jessica over here. And I'm going to marry, what'd you say your name was? Your fake name? Veronica? Mm-hmm. Yes. And I'm going to marry Veronica, so accept it or accept it. And if you don't accept it, bye. I would personally put my foot down and say, I don't want them at my wedding.
Agreed.
That's what I would fucking do.
Like, I mean, think about this for God's sakes. When you're getting introduced as man and wife, like once you take your vows and you're walking back down the aisle together, are these people genuinely gonna stand up and clap?
Yeah, are they just gonna be like...
Or are they gonna be like, oh, wish it was Jessica.
Like
that's
absolutely
awkward.
not.
Like, why do they even want to come? And if we're really breaking it down, I'm real passionate about this. Plates cost about $200 per person.
Like, why are you paying for these fools to eat?
Yeah, I wouldn't pay
Absolutely
for them
not.
I wouldn't pay for them to eat my food and drink.
No, I only paid $75 a plate, but if we're not cool, if I wouldn't pay for your food on a regular ass day, I'm sure as hell not paying for your food on this day. It's not only the wedding though, right? So y'all are gonna get married regardless of these fucking fools on the side. Once you're a married couple and doing life, just doing normal life after that, like, these dudes are gonna be around all the fucking time. Like, ew.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Honestly, I don't even think this is on you. You need to tell your mans, show him this goddamn video. You need to tell your mans that he needs to grow a pair and stand up to his friends and say, here are the new fucking rules moving forward. If you're not cool with the rules, bye. But you're not gonna disrespect my fiance, soon to be wife. You're not gonna talk about that other bitch, you know, in my presence or in her presence. And you have to, and we're a package deal now. So take it or leave. That's what it is. Like, I don't feel like he should be friends with people who don't support him in his life and respect you, because that's just gross to me.
Right, because then, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing problem, because eventually those friends will get married and then they're going to have Jessica at their wedding.
At their fucking wedding.
And you're going to have to keep dealing with this phantom girl that forever for what? Friends are family that we choose. So it's like, why would I choose someone that every time we meet up puts me in distress? Makes no sense.
Honestly, I know people say ultimatums don't work. It fucking works for me every time. But like, bitch, it works for me every fucking time. My studies show that it has a 100% return guaranteed.
People do all the
but
time.
It's kind of like, it's your friends or it's me. That's tough.
Yeah. I say this is a fight worth fighting.
I think it's a fight worth fighting too.
But it's how you fight. You shouldn't keep going back and forth about it. It needs to just be like, hey, I'm going to present the facts. I think men do a little bit well with facts. Like, just logical facts. Here it is. This is how it makes me feel, and this is why I'm not going to deal with it, and be done with it. So if they're still hanging out with her, and I don't know how young you guys are, it seems like you're probably in your 20s. So if it's still a situation where it's vacations and turn-ups and bachelorettes and bachelor parties with her there, no.
Put your foot down, girl.
Yeah.
Put your foot down. Okay, we took a small intermission to charge my camera. But we're back, and we're going to do one last one.
These have been really juicy, like,
I know,
really long and like detailed,
juicy.
And a lot of layers.
Okay, I gotta catch my breath. I ran up the stairs. Okay, hey girl, I wrote another email to you. Okay, so this is someone who has already written in before.
Oh, so okay, what was the follow-up?
I don't know if it's a follow-up. I think it's a separate situation. Okay. I started my current position back in the beginning of 2021. At this time, our company was still working from home, so I got to know my coworkers through Teams and Zoom. There was one coworker, Joanne, I hope this is her fake name, Joanne, who I had got close with as she was my peer and she just started this position a few months before me. She is significantly younger than me, but mature for her age, or so I thought. Fast forward to now, we are back in the office and I get to spend more time with my coworkers and see the interactions. Joanne has a crush on one of our directors. I like where this is going. I wanted to be a voice of reason like her older sister. I have been in the corporate world for some time now and have seen the ins and outs of what can happen in the workplace. We are all replaceable, and sometimes certain things are not worth throwing your career away for. I advised her not to pursue anything. She knows this and has said she wouldn't do anything. I thought that would be the end of it and I wouldn't hear it as often after that. I was wrong. She talks about him every day. See, this is why I'm not made for the corporate world. Because if someone is fine, they're fine.
I'm so glad I've always worked in situations where it's like all women. I've rarely worked with men just because by virtue of what I do. I'm so glad.
I have a little bit, but I just will say in the corporate world, like, not a lot of them are fine. On TV, in the corporate, like on TV, they make it look like all these businessmen are like so attractive. It's like,
they're not.
No, they're not in person. But like, I would be the annoying friend because if someone's fine, they're fine, and I'm gonna mention it every single day.
That would be tough.
I know that'd be tough.
Because when I have a crush, I have a
crush. But she talks about him every day. Our director Nick is very caring and treats us all the same and wants the best for us. But she is convinced that he is whipped over her. I know Nick is just doing his job, and our entire team is nice and helpful people, so I'm not sure how she gets the idea of being his favorite. Okay. She buys him things, and also Oh, that's like an HR. That becomes an HR issue.
Right.
You can't like buy people in the corporate world. Like
you can't even like spend
it's
your
like
money.
unless it's under a certain amount and like for a holiday or something. But like that gets hairy. She buys him things, and also she goes into his office to talk for hours and not the other way around. She also texts him on the weekend, and he's never the one to initiate it. Lines are being crossed.
She's harassing him.
For real. Basically, how I see it is she is making the moves, and yet she thinks he's whipped over her. When really, I think he's just being nice. I'm just overhearing about it because until she no longer works there, I want nothing to do with it. I have been in HR situations for simply just being there and not being involved. That's true.
That's true.
How do I tell her nicely that I do not feel comfortable about her talking about our director, especially when we're at work? I should probably mention she gets butthurt easily, so I've been having a difficult time treading that water. Please help. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. I think that you just have to tell her, especially since you've been in situations where like it affected you and you weren't even part of the situation. That's a way to tell her too, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with the situation because I don't want to be brought into it. And you can say, the only reason I think I'm going to get brought into it is because that's happened to me before, where like I had nothing to do with it, but because I peeped a few things here and there, like I became part of the situation that I didn't want to be in. So I would voice your opinion, especially like if you like this career and like this office and like the people and you want to continue long-term with this company, I would set a boundary.
Yes.
If she's young and maybe this is her first corporate job, or she's just young to where like she's got so much more life to live or whatever, this might just be a stop for her, right? Like she might move on, but if you are older and more settled in this position and at this company, you kind of have to protect your position there.
Yes. Because
this might not be that serious to her and it's serious to you. So you got to be like, girl, I want to keep this job, so please leave me out of this. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know any details or information. Like if someone asks me questions about it, I want to know nothing.
Period. I was literally gonna say the same thing. I'm like, this has to be like one of those communication things, but the communication is a literal, like, you're basically giving her a warning of saying, don't tell me anything about you and Nick anymore or any of your interactions. And at the same token, once you have that conversation with her, you can't say anything else. If you notice her in his office, if you see her coming in with a Macy's bag,
you didn't see
nothing.
You didn't see nothing.
You already had the conversation, so don't keep mentioning it, you know? And if she is having this conversation like with other coworkers at lunch, just exit stage left, because you know how this is going to end. It's very evident that he's not reciprocating anything and he's not initiating. But you never know. Maybe he is. So don't get involved.
Once you say your piece and you're out of it, whatever happens between Nick and her, if something does happen or doesn't, that's all on them. You know, if lines are crossed, if HR gets involved, if something happens inappropriately to him or to her from him or whatever happens, that's now in their hands, in their court, and ain't got nothing to do with you.
And if they ask you, the only thing you can say is, you know, she mentioned something to me, but I told her that I thought it was like inappropriate and she should stop, and we never talked about it again.
Yeah, and I never heard anything about it again.
And you'd be telling the truth.
For real, yes. That's my advice on that.
Yeah.
It gets sticky in the corporate world.
It gets sticky.
But then it's like, isn't there rules of like...
Some people have non-fraternization rules, but some don't. Yeah. Some don't. The closest I got to corporate was working in retail, and that was where like it was men and women in the retail store. And I know for a fact, I was in cosmetics, but I know for facts there were so many girls in cosmetics, because it was obviously predominantly women. They were dating guys in shoes, guys in men's, guys upstairs.
Is it different because it's different departments?
No, it was still, they still frowned upon it, because you know what happens? People break up. Like you break up and now the whole environment is messy.
I don't know if you guys, or if you watched, I don't think you watched it, The Bold Type.
No, that was one of my friend's shows, actually.
Really?
It was like her show.
It's so good, but you have to watch it. But in that show, one of the girls is dating like the CFO or CEO. Like she's young and he's, you know, good like 10 to 15 years older than her. But it was like okay because of something. I think it's something at some companies too where it's like the positions.
Like a power dynamic.
Yeah, so I guess like it's also something like he can't be the one directly paying her.
Right, like management can't be in a relationship with their like subordinates.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And this obviously seems like he's y'all's director, like you are his direct subordinate. So, because I mean, you get it. Like people who are dating their like managers or bosses are going to get preferential treatment. They can get days off, raises,
exactly.
all this stuff.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, and it's like it airs on the side of like harassment. You don't know if like this person's being coerced because it's like a power dynamic. It's
honestly, she's kind of playing with fire.
But she's young, and honestly, maybe that's gonna be her lesson, and you shouldn't interfere with her lesson, okay?
Let her learn that lesson.
Let that happen, because she gotta learn that lesson.
I'm dead. But it happens where that happens and they get together and like get married and shit.
For sure. That happens all the time. It happens every day. But usually what happens when that happens, that person has to leave the company. One of the people have to agree to leave the company.
Yes.
And then the other person can stay. But I mean,
or some companies allow it, but you have to put it on record. Like both parties have to put it on record with HR so that everyone's aware of their dynamic or something like that.
That's crazy.
So if something like goes wrong, they have like evidence that it was two consensual people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had to do that. I worked at one place when I first went to LA, and we had a husband and wife on staff. It was a salon, but there was like, we had to sign, it was like a non-fraternization policy, and everyone that got hired had to sign it because it was, you know, men and women at the salon.
Also, at it wasn't the last company. The company before the last company I worked at, there were multiple, I'm talking in one office, not like the company. In one office, there was like 2 or 3, which 2 already blew my mind. 2 or 3 married couples in our department that were not together until they started at the company.
Oh.
And like almost all of them had affairs. Like all these people individually were married to other people. Then they all at different times started working at this company and then had affairs and then got divorces and got married, and now they all work at the company.
Scandalous.
I was literally like, oh, so this happens, like, I knew it happened.
Oh, yeah.
But that frequently to where it's 6 people's life stories in one company. I was like, what is in the water here?
I literally have never liked the whole like work husband or work wife culture. I think that is really weird.
It's weird.
Because it's like a lot of times those people have relationships at home, and then at work it's like, oh, this is my work husband, this is my work wife. But if you think about it, you spend more time at work than you do anywhere else.
So it's like,
is that your real husband, and at home is your home husband? Like, what does that really mean?
Yeah, that would not fly with me. I'd
be
like,
terrible, because a lot of times the person at work treats the person better
than their own spouse.
Yes, I have seen situations where like work husbands will like buy their work wife flowers, and then their husband never buys them flowers. It's like, whoa.
Lines crossed.
Yeah.
It's a little fuzzy.
Shots fired.
I think you're right, though. I think you were right to tell her that she shouldn't be playing, you know, don't touch the stove, girl.
Yeah.
But if she's going to keep touching the stove, let her.
Yeah, don't get involved.
Yeah.
No, because next thing you know, you'll be called into a meeting.
Girl.
And they'll be like, you knew, you should have reported.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that's part of it, too. Like, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's our 2 cents on that.
Yeah, let us know what happened with that, too. I kind of want to know if she, like, gets fired or stays or what.
Let us know, like, within this year, like, what happens. Do they get together? I want to know.
I know.
That is going to be it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed. We did a few less this time than last time because they were longer and juicy stories.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. All the details are very helpful. Again, let me know. I'm really teetering on this if you should just be in every episode moving forward.
Let me know. I won't be offended if you're like, no, we want other guests.
Right. And I won't be offended if you're like, no, we like it better with Tori than when you're by yourself. That's fine.
It's fine. Sometimes it's cool with other people because you like can talk, you know? It's always
conversational.
Single podcasts are always tough because it's like one person's voice.
But let us know. Don't forget to follow Tori on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And again, if you have a situation that you want to write in about, write us, give us all the details, whatever you're comfortable with. And that's the other thing too. Just want to put this out there. The more entries we have, the more frequently we can film the videos and have them up. Because I feel bad when some of the entries we read today were from like Christmas time. And so you're like waiting on our answer and stuff like that. So the more entries we get, the faster we can, you know, do these videos. There's no rhyme or reason. At first I was just like once a month, but if we have like a ton of entries, we can like try to make these more like a bi-weekly or even weekly. But yeah, it's all dependent on that. So write in. We'd love to hear it and help any way we can. But thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys in the next 2 cents video. Bye.
Kinda new with apologies.